Hello, and welcome to Blood, Devastation, Death, War, and Horror. Later on, we'll be talking to a man who does gardening, but for now, we're joined by my sister, Mary.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show.
No problem.
Now, I've wanted to, during this whole March Madness month of daily vlogging thing, I've wanted to make videos with other people, and you're not me.
I am another person.
Just barely.
And I am...
But you fit the bill.
I'm geographically closest.
Yes. Mary, you're a big fan of the show Breaking Bad, and so that will be our topic of discussion today. I decided that I wanted to talk to you about the show Breaking Bad and your thoughts on it, because you often bring it up, and it's been now a year since you completed your viewing of it.
I don't think big fan is enough.
No, I would agree with that.
Analytic obsessive, maybe.
Yeah, you did buy a book.
Yeah, I did.
So, we're gonna be talking about Breaking Bad. We're gonna jump right in. So, you watched the show last year.
Yes.
In March.
Yes.
All of it.
All of it.
In March.
Yes.
Not even the whole month, I don't think.
No, it was probably about 3 weeks. 5 seasons in 3 weeks.
Five seasons in 3 weeks.
Couldn't stop. You just come home from work and you're like, okay, got a little time, I'm gonna watch 2. And then you just want to know more and more, and so you just keep it going.
I get it, yeah.
And then it's bedtime.
Yeah. No, you would watch episodes upon episodes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was fully in support of it. I think I watched it, or I finished watching it a year before you started it.
Could be, actually.
Or probably
yes.
around the same time, or I don't remember. Doesn't matter. So that leads me to my first question: is why did you finally decide to watch it?
That's a good question, actually. It might have just been that I had finished something else, and it was like, well, need to fill my time with something new.
It was just next on the list?
It was on the list, yeah. Maybe it wasn't next on the list.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember now what the motivating factor was.
Because I remember I had been telling you that I thought you would like it.
Oh, you've been telling me that since you started it.
Yeah.
And I was holding off, I think because of a worry of a grossness factor.
Yeah,
and
right.
there is.
Okay.
Like, right away.
Right away
there
is.
Factor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I should mention, we will be discussing spoilers.
Good.
So view at your own discretion.
Good.
Do you remember how you first heard about the show? Because those are 2 separate instances.
Yeah. Probably in the general zeitgeist.
Yeah.
It was before you watched it. Like,
Right, sure.
There are some things that you can't escape. Like right now, if you haven't at least heard about Hamilton, like where have you been? So Breaking Bad was just so popular that it was being mentioned in different places, I think. And so
it was memed.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah, and I think when you started watching it, I had to blacklist it on Tumblr, because then I thought, well, I probably will watch this one day.
Yeah.
And then I started avoiding things.
So you had that blacklisted for like 2 years then?
Yes.
Man.
Yes.
That's dedication.
I had Better Call Saul blacklisted for a year, until we just recently watched it. I don't want to be spoiled.
I think I've only ever blacklisted The Force Awakens, and I've never been spoiled for anything. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I blacklist Game of Thrones every year when it comes back.
Yeah.
Because we don't watch it the night of. So.
No, we watched the next day.
Doesn't matter.
All right. We're a little in the weeds here.
Yeah.
I want to move on now to... I just have to give this air of professionalism. Right, so the main point that is kind of the spine of the show, and that I really want to talk about with you, is the morality of the show, of Breaking Bad. Not just of its characters, but of the show itself. And I want to start by talking about Walt, of course, and the way he's presented.
Yeah.
So I want you to give me your initial impressions of Walt and his motives, and your thoughts on his Breaking Bad, his meth making.
Yeah.
What did you initially think about
right
that?
away, like season 1?
So basically, what did you think about the premise of the show is, I guess, what I'm asking.
Oh, I thought the premise of the show was really interesting.
Sure.
Because I didn't realize that it was going to start immediately.
Yeah.
Like, first episode, they're already making meth. I thought there's going to be a build-up. there's going to be a little more explanation of why he's doing it, and it was just like, boom, right off.
Yeah.
So, in the beginning, ooh, it's hard to say, because I did waver, but in the beginning I thought, you're doing this for a right reason. I keep thinking about when he got to the number. He did get to the number, right? He laid out, this is how much I need.
Of the amount of money that he needed.
Yeah.
That he just, yeah.
And it was in the wall.
He decided
packed it in the wall.
Right.
And then, after that point, I thought, why are you still going?
Uh-huh.
So at first, yeah, I thought, good reason, makes sense. Not the best way to go about it, but he seemed like a man who had no other options.
Yes.
He was so beaten down at the beginning of it.
And that's the thing I want to come back to. Yeah, I think that's really important in the show's shaping of our impression of of this character.
Because then that feeds into his motive later.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just about getting the money anymore.
Right. Yeah. So the whole thing of the show is then after a certain point, you kind of turn on Walt. So when do you think that was for you, or when do you think the show meant to show you like, not so much?
I think the show probably meant it to happen when he gives her the "I'm the one who knocks" speech.
Uh-huh.
Because then you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah. That's the point where he's saying it. He's so far at that point.
Yeah.
She's worried about... What she's worried about is that Walt is entering a thing that he is outside of, and what he's telling her is, no, I am the danger.
Yeah.
I'm the thing that others are afraid of.
I'm in it.
Right. So that's where he admits that he's a part of that.
Yeah. So it probably happened earlier than that, where his motive had changed, but I think right there the show is saying, like, this guy is different.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
But, and maybe this is bad to admit, but I don't think I turned on him until Hank died.
Until Hank.
Is so late in the game.
That's very late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still want it to be... It's the same issue with House of Cards. You're like, oh, I kind of want him to succeed. Like, I don't really want him to get caught because of the way the show frames it. He's the main character, and so you want the main character to do well.
Right. Yeah.
But that episode really broke me.
That's this whole anti-hero thing that everybody's doing now because of Mad Men and because of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know that House of Cards is a product of that or just another piece of that. But yeah, that's a big thing right now. And it's an interesting way to play with the morality of a show and the way that viewers... It's a good way to draw people in is by playing with their morality and putting them in the shoes of someone who's maybe not the best person.
Definitely, yes.
I just remembered a thing I wanted to say about how you said it starts immediately in episode 1 they're making meth. I can see why it would be attractive to a writer to have this build-up, but I think a lot of the times there's false importance placed on that kind of build-up. Like, the story doesn't really start until that piece, that part of the engine starts moving, and that moves the whole rest of it. Like, there's no reason.
Right.
You can glean the rest of it, and then that gives you creative ways to tell exposition.
True.
You get all that later in really, really interesting ways,
and
in a more impactful way.
Well.
Yeah.
Because you don't know about I can't remember their names, but the two rich people.
Yeah.
Who he was gonna work with.
Right, the Schwartzes.
Yeah. You don't know about them for quite some time, and then when they're at that party, you start to get a bigger picture. Of like, oh, maybe he did get shafted on something, and so maybe he has a point in what he's doing.
Right. Maybe there's some justification.
Yes, that's what I was looking for.
There's an idea of justice.
Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah. People love an underdog. And he absolutely starts out an underdog in... Not just in, like, the drug world where he has to prove himself to all of these...
no, just in general. In his own family.
Just in general, in the world, yeah. He's a very... You get the impression that he's just kind of this impotent guy. He goes around, be
Definitely.
all timid and
especially the way they juxtapose him with Hank
yes.
at the very beginning.
Yeah, that's
it's very interesting. Yeah.
Because the way they show Hank interacting with Walt's son.
Yeah.
You get the idea that Walt has this insecurity that Hank is the father that Walt Jr. really wants, really would like to have.
Yeah.
And that Hank is the person that, at least personality-wise, Walt would like to be.
Yes.
So at the beginning of the show, you're on his side, you said, and like there's justification for what he's doing, and he's super timid. By the end of the show, he's over that. He's incredibly confident.
Yeah.
But you're not on his side anymore.
No, definitely not.
So do you think now it's?
Although in the last episode, I'm on his side.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. Do you think there's something bigger, or can it be as simple as he's not the underdog anymore?
I don't think it's that simple.
Yeah.
Because I like confident characters in other shows. I'm often very attracted to that. I like charming, confident people. But he was not that same type of character. I think he was more than confidence. It was like he'd gotten too big for his britches. When they're sitting,
I have a feeling that's something Mike said.
most likely, yes. When they're sitting in the car, early season 5, I think, and they're like formulating what they're gonna do with the pest company. I just kept thinking like, you're playing with fire now. What are you doing at this point? I didn't like him in that season.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Although I guess maybe I didn't really like Gus. And now it was like he was Gus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why would you say you didn't like Gus?
He was cold and so, like, frigidly in charge. There was no questioning him. There didn't seem to be any depth to him. And this is at first. Because my opinion of Gus changed. When they show that flashback. You know, you get more of him.
Yeah. So after that, then, when you find out why Gus has become what he's become, why he's doing this.
I had more sympathy for him. But I was still on Walt's side at that point. Yeah.
Because... And do you think that's because he's over Walt? Walt has nothing on him.
Yes.
So can it be... Excuse me.
Maybe it's true, yeah. It's not the confidence thing. It's just that he's no longer the person who's striving.
Right.
He's...
At the end, when there are no more... What is it? There's no more to conquer. There are no more worlds to conquer.
Yeah. There's no more windmills.
Right, exactly. At the end, he's beaten each dungeon's boss.
And, it's interesting, at the very end, he's not on top anymore. Now someone else is on top. It's those other people.
Right, because he's been forced into exile.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I'm for him again.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, maybe that's it.
Maybe it's that simple.
You just don't want to be for the guy who's in charge.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to check the lighting real quick.
Sure.
Right, okay, so the Breaking Bad plays with your own morality, maybe makes you question yourself a little bit by putting us in Walt's shoes, by turning us into Walt, in a way. Like, it shows us, like, we don't, like you said, you don't get this build-up, we're right in the thick of it, cooking meth right away, but you get a great idea of who Walt is, just because the show is great at showing you who characters are right away. And so you are still on this journey with Walt throughout the whole series, not just at the very beginning. But you're on this journey with him, and so I think you also partially sympathize with him because you're in it together. You're experiencing what he's experiencing.
Yeah, that's true.
The show is very much from his point of view for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's omniscient, but it's Walt's story.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it's like we sympathize with him, and then the show at a certain point shows us what a monster he is.
Yeah.
And that's where where the show makes us question ourselves a little bit more, that we've been on this guy's side. And that's
Yeah.
probably why a lot of people find Breaking Bad so interesting,
Mm-hmm.
is that it gets you on its side and then makes you question yourself.
Yeah.
So, not until Hank, huh?
I know. But here's the thing, like, as you're saying, it makes you question yourself. Never at any point did I think, if my family was in trouble like this, I think I'd cook some meth.
Right,
Like,
yeah, no,
I
no.
never thought, would I go to these lengths?
No,
because
it's
I
not.
know I wouldn't.
Yeah, we all know you wouldn't as well.
Right.
It's not that it's presenting like, oh, I never thought of that. I could do this. Why, we could all just cook
Here's
meth.
some ideas.
Yeah, no, but it's showing you a relatable struggle of trying to, have a family and trying to have happiness.
Yeah.
Just, whatever you can do to get by, and just
Yeah.
whatever it means. You're a teacher. Teachers are compensated really terribly, so we can understand that.
Right.
So, feeding into my next thing, I think that it very much appeals to this desire that I think we all have to just say fuck it at a certain point
Yes.
and make your own rules.
Absolutely.
So I think watching it in a way then is really self-indulgent.
Yeah.
Like that. Do you feel that at all?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's going totally against society. And my inner instinct is to just go with society.
Uh-huh.
Seriously. Just don't rock the boat. I'm that type of person.
Yeah.
Just go along. To a degree. Go along, Jerry, go along. But,
References within references.
yes, that's, what do they think they signed up for?
Yeah, no, honestly.
But you're right. It's a good way to, what's the word? You're living vicariously through him.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like, even though you would never do that, it's like, well, this is what it would be like.
Yeah.
And it gives you an insight into a world you will probably never see. Most of us will never go into the drug trade,
Yeah, I think we can hope at least.
Hopefully, yes.
No, but yeah, that's a thing that we've all felt, whether it's warranted or not. Some stupid little thing pushes us over the edge one day. One day we've just had a little too much.
Yeah.
We're thinking in our head, that's it. You know what? I can get on a bus tonight, go down to Mexico. I can go off grid, lose my social security number. We can do all this my way.
Definitely, yeah.
And nah.
Right.
No, it's probably not worth it in the long run.
It's a very long way of saying, don't do that. 5 seasons of maybe don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. It's
Yeah.
5 seasons of maybe don't do that. So then do you think that you mentioned that we're on his side again at the end,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because he's not in control anymore, because everything has been taken away from him. But also because it's a huge catharsis, right?
Oh, yes.
Like the whole thing, there are some really cathartic moments throughout the whole series, but the end especially.
Yes.
Why do you think the finale is so cathartic?
Part of it has to do with Jesse.
Yeah. Oh, Jesse.
Oh my god. I felt bad for him from probably the moment they showed him in his parents' backyard.
Yeah.
When he went to go see his parents. I was like, oh, there's more here. And so, I think from that moment, the show is just beating him down.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
Yeah.
And then that final season is just horrific for him. Horrible.
It's funny
The
because
second half is just...
well, yeah, that's the point where the show is just put him in an actual prison.
Yes.
Chained him up and forced him to cook meth.
And so that whole time you're just thinking, God, let him go.
Yeah.
Let him go.
Yeah.
And I was so worried they weren't going to let him go. But they let him get out. And they let him kill that bastard Todd.
Yeah, Todd. We all hate
man.
Todd.
Oh, he was the worst.
Yeah.
His stupid face. And he did. Is he
Everybody
the one?
hates Todd.
Did he kill that kid in the desert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He killed
so
the kid.
screw him.
He did kill
No.
the kid.
I was so glad about that. So there's that cathartic moment, and then there's also a little bit. Oh, well, obviously Lydia was also a great moment.
Uh-huh.
But then there's the feeling of like these white trash hick dudes came in and stole his trade.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he built this up for 5 seasons. We watched it.
They are, I just thought about this, they are kind of the literal and physical imprisonment and chains in this meth cooking, because they literally have him chained up and on this like rail system,
Yeah.
so he can just go around and cook meth and then go back to his cage.
Yeah.
The literal physical manifestation of the emotional version of that I think Walt was to him.
Yes, actually.
He was very emotionally manipulative of
Definitely.
Jesse.
Yes, he had him emotionally in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. He kept prodding him all along the way, like, we gotta keep cooking.
Right.
Jesse wanted to get out of it a couple times.
Several
When
times,
he had
yes.
his duffel bag of money, he should have gone somewhere else. He should not have...
That's another slogan for the show, apart from maybe don't do that, is he should have...
Yes.
Fill in the blank.
Yep. By the time he was in that house, having those multiple day parties,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you should have gotten out. And so you're right. He was keeping him prisoner in a different way.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something else. What were you saying? So then those white trash hicks came in, and so to see them sprayed with machine gun fire was like, yes.
Yeah, and it
It's
doesn't...
not yours.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt that they, they didn't just steal his trade, it doesn't hurt that they're also, like, white supremacists.
Yep.
Just
yep.
see them gunned down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't need them.
No, nobody needs that. So, going back to our introduction to Walt, is, like, that is showing us his whole situation, and he's got kind of a crappy job, 2 crappy jobs, actually. I remember he's working at the car wash, I forgot about that, I just remembered that. And then he has clearly all these insecurities about him and his family. So that's the show being a reflection of us. It's not necessarily a reflection of us, but it's just the show being relatable, and that's the show giving us motives and justification that it knows that, or the writers know that we will find adequate and palatable for to get us on board and to get us in a place where it doesn't seem so far-fetched.
Yeah.
I guess. Do you think the show did a good job of that? Of getting you on board and making you feel like a lot of things were justified?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, just evidenced by the fact of how long it took me to turn against him.
Right, right.
Yes, they really paint the portrait of a guy who's screwed in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you said not too far-fetched. It seems crazy if you say it to someone, oh, a science teacher is becoming a meth manufacturer, not even a dealer. But, oh, it just makes so much sense. The fact that he knows chemistry so well, and so he can apply it to that, and he's not being fulfilled in his job, and so the making the meth and making it as well as he does fulfills him in that way.
The other thing, is when he starts doing it, it's like creatively fulfilling.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I did a really cool chemistry thing just now.
At first it's that. At first he's like, oh, this is just, in a chemistry way, interesting. And then he becomes possessive of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does someone else try to make blue meth? And try to sell it
I think so at one point, yeah.
And he doesn't like that, obviously. And
he's all angry because it's not as pure as his.
But that's not it.
Right.
It's that he's the guy who can do it. You should be coming to him because he's the one, you know? Like, don't go to some... Yeah. He markets it as, you want the purest product, but really it's, feed my ego.
This was my thing.
Yes.
You're doing my thing.
Yes.
I think that's a creative thing.
Yeah.
That isn't, like... I think any creative outlet, and that doesn't necessarily mean the arts, but, like... If you invent a thing, a lot of people who invent things probably feel that way, or like a writer who does a certain thing, like creates the idea of the protagonist is an anti-hero. Maybe would feel like that, or in a video way, people would feel like that.
Yeah. You're always possessive of the things you create.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just not that much.
Yeah, hopefully you won't go to murder.
Right. Ideally.
Although, I mean, Hollywood. You are listening to a podcast about...
People don't get murdered very often.
Hollywood.
People just sleep with each other's wives.
Well, fine. We're good then.
Yeah.
So the justification... I think this is just... the justification for him doing what he does. Thanks. Life has spit on him at every turn.
Yes.
So why shouldn't he spit back?
Yeah.
There's this idea of justice, and like that's not the way the world works.
Right.
Because he has to cook meth and then ends up ultimately dying in a meth lab.
He's in some legal. I mean, that is legal hot water.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a more constructive way he could have done it? Could he have gotten back at society in a better way?
Could he have gotten back at society? Do you hear yourself?
Do you hear yourself?
I think that's what they said after the Russian Revolution in 1917 is, could we have revolted in a more constructive way? Right, so at what point do you think things change for Walt? The reason that he's doing it. At the beginning, it's, I have cancer, I'm gonna die, great. Let me get some money to my kids, and my stupid life that I really hate, and I hate myself, will have been worth something. Great, cool, let me have this poetic ending, I get money to my kids. When do you think it changed?
I think it's either as soon as he has that correct number of money in his wall, or when he lets Jane die.
That's when you think it changes.
It becomes something else.
See, I think that's a cause. I don't think it's the effect.
Okay.
No, scratch that, reverse it. I think that's an effect, I don't think it's the cause.
When do you think it started?
I know when it changed for him is when they go to that doctor's office and the doctor says, you're getting better.
No, you're right.
Your cancer's in remission.
Yep.
He goes to the bathroom and he punches the fuck out of a towel dispenser.
You're absolutely
because that's
right.
not the way it was supposed to be.
When
I had resigned myself to losing this way, cool, and now life spits on him again.
Yes!
Because the plan that involved him being cool with cancer and cool with dying, that can't even go through. That can't even succeed.
So true. Yeah. He can't even die successfully.
Yes. Yeah. So that introduces a whole other level of anger into it.
The first time I saw that scene, I didn't understand it. I was like, why is he angry? Why is he punching that thing? And I think you explained to me, and I was like, oh crap.
Because he wanted to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so right. Even that couldn't go to plan. I love that.
And that's just another thing that fuels the rest, and I think that's where it turns over a little bit for him.
I think that's all in the same time. It's pretty close together, though. Getting the money, that happening, and him letting Jane die. Aren't they all pretty close together?
I think so. Maybe we have to rewatch it. We have to watch the whole thing again. But yeah, I think... Because is that the point where they have like all Jesse's friends working for them? Is that the point where they're still working towards the number?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't remember exactly the timeline.
Yeah. What's his name? That guy's got an animal name.
Badger?
Badger!
Badger's great.
Yeah, actually.
He's
My favorite story is about the other guy, though. How they're in that music store, and he starts playing that piano.
Oh!
Really beautifully.
Yeah,
and
the skinny guy?
Yeah. That actor, like, really knows how to play the piano that well.
That's funny.
But he's playing this, like, scummy dude.
Yeah, right. That's another thing I liked about the show, is that it kind of did away with any preconceived notions you might have about characters. Like, this, the big one is this timid, impotent high school teacher. Yeah, he's a meth kingpin and he's murdering people, you know? Don't assume anything about this guy.
Right.
Or Jesse, you know, he's really creative and he's a really emotional guy. He feels really deeply.
Yeah.
Great. He's got this connection that he wants to rekindle with his parents.
Right. I don't know what my impression of him was, like, before going in, because I think I had some ideas of some of the characters, just from, like, reading online and stuff. And so I guess I just thought he was just going to be a druggie.
Yeah.
Like, he was just going to be, not one-dimensional, because I didn't expect the show to be crappy.
Right.
But I didn't expect that much out of him,
Uh-huh.
as much as we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think Vince Gilligan did either. Like
he was going to kill him off. Yes.
In season 1, right?
Yeah. 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Like, really quickly.
It was early on, but...
Maybe that's
That's more
Aaron Paul.
Yeah, that's absolutely more the character, what the actor brought to the character.
Yeah.
Because he had already, written the story and knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's another thing I was going to mention earlier about Walt destroying Jesse's life was the first time we see Jesse, and like Jesse's first, albeit indirect, interaction with Walt is when Walt is on that ride-along, and they bust up Jesse's meth lab, and the first time he sees him, he's fallen off a roof.
Technically, their first interaction is when he was his student.
That's true.
I still remember, didn't he
true.
write on his paper, apply yourself, or like
Yeah.
something like that? Yeah, I don't know, I just always remember that.
Yeah. I wanna talk about two things as our final bit here.
Okay.
And I don't know which I should put first, but I'm gonna go with, do you think Walt succeeds in what he originally set out to do with this whole game?
Yes. But in a really roundabout way.
Yeah.
That went way too far. Like, you could have stopped.
Right.
By the time they're standing in that storage locker with that much money, you could say he succeeded. Like, they are set now.
Yeah.
And he dies.
Yes.
So if those were his goals, like he was expecting to die, and he wanted to get his family set, money-wise, he did both of those things. There were just a lot of casualties along the way.
Right, that's the thing, is that there's a lot of collateral damage, and I don't think he envisioned his end goal being, well, you know what, no matter what happens, like, your brother-in-law's dead.
Right.
Your wife's, it's gotta be Skylar's brother, then, right? I'm always confused about the family thing.
No.
Skylar and Marie
was,
are sisters.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So Hank is nobody to anybody.
Right.
Okay.
But now her sister is grieving.
A widow, yes.
God, I felt bad for Marie.
Yeah, right.
I didn't really like her in some parts, but she didn't deserve that.
No, she certainly didn't deserve to have her husband killed, no.
Twice. I mean, almost the first time.
In the parking lot, with those, with the hitman.
All the really climactic moments that really got to me had to do with Hank.
Yeah?
I don't know why. I did not like him at first. Talk about getting more than you thought out of a character.
Yes. He's this macho, annoying kind of misogynist.
Talking about Mexicans and just did not like him.
Yeah.
But then he goes on that trip, and he's like, he went down
to the border,
Yeah, and he's really affected by that, and I thought, maybe there's more here.
Right.
Oh, and he was having all those anxiety attacks then after it, and I was thinking, yeah. And then he gets injured in that by the guys.
Right, and we see him go through all the rehab.
Right.
And his clear depression.
Right.
Throughout that.
With his
minerals. Marie. Minerals.
That's it's off topic, but that's my favorite joke that I was able to reblog finally on Tumblr.
Yeah.
Somebody put, let me think, I gotta do it right. It's mineral paper scissors, Marie.
Oh my god.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, that took me a minute.
Yeah.
It took me a minute.
But then there's that, and then he gets his hands on the Gail Bedecker case.
Yes.
And he's looking through all that stuff. He's getting so close. He sees the initials in the book.
Yeah. See, then because he's the foil. Am I using that correctly?
Yeah.
At that point, he's the foil, and since Walt is such a terrible person at that point, that's what the show does. It's because we're rooting for Hank then because Walt is such a terrible person. But when Walt is like putting all those bugs in Hank's office because he's onto them, do you think you're rooting for Walt still, or are you rooting for Hank? Or are you rooting for both?
It's in different scenarios. When they're standing in that garage and there's those boxes of evidence between them, I'm rooting for Hank.
Yeah.
I really didn't like Walt at that time.
Because he has the moral high ground.
Yes. But then when he's putting those bugs in there, like, you have that feeling like, don't let him get caught, don't let him get caught.
Right. Do you think that you would have had that feeling throughout about always being on Walt's side if Walt hadn't done all these, like, really questionable things, like maybe poisoning a kid?
Yeah, he
did that
and
letting Jane die. Like, if he had gone through this as
If
like
he'd somehow
season
stayed
1
squeaky
Walt.
clean,
Yeah,
but made meth.
if he had, you know,
But
kind
could
of.
he have?
Yeah, exactly. That's the question.
I don't think he could have.
Yeah, right.
All that stuff made him harder and more equipped
Yeah.
to move in the world of meth.
Mm-hmm.
And he may not have been able to keep moving on without that.
Right.
And I was going to say, just really quickly, Hank and Walt, it's interesting, they were always foils, just in a different way. At the beginning, like you said, they were like, you know, he was thinking Hank's the father that Walt Jr. wants.
Right.
They're different. He's macho. Walt is kind of a wuss and has no agency. Hank seems to have a lot of agency in his own life.
Yeah.
And then I guess there's that point where Hank doesn't have any agency when he's depressed and he's bedridden, and Walt has a lot of agency, and now they're foils again.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's just the perfect law-abiding and law-breaking.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's such a clear black and white, except it's not.
And there's a lot of, like, really silly, just straight-up machismo in that, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot that there's no point to.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, you're right. They're kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to watch it with an eye to, like, just watch their trajectories, those
Yeah.
two characters, and see how they mirror and
Right,
differ.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is an interesting point. Yeah. So do you still think that, like, there's no way Walt could have envisioned this horrific, you know,
Trail of bodies.
trail of bodies, what's the scorched earth
Yeah.
outcome? So does he still succeed in this scenario where, you know, before he ever dies, his family is broken up, someone in his family is killed because of him,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end you see Skylar and Walt Jr. and their baby, Holly. Skylar's smoking again, the place is filthy,
Yeah.
it's tiny, they're clearly living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Did he succeed? We don't really get to see the point where this pile of money gets to his family ever in the show.
True. But I like that we don't.
Yeah.
I like that we don't get the resolution. Like, I don't need to see Skylar's reaction to he's dead. Or, like, yeah, what they do with the money.
We don't
or,
need to see Walt's funeral.
Right. Or even what Jesse goes to do. Like,
Yeah, no.
they cut it off so well. But sorry, success. In a bare bones, slimmest, I don't know how I want to say it, like,
Pragmatic.
yes, he did.
Yeah.
Because he reached those two goals that I was saying. But, at what cost?
You get to say that
That's what I think I
seriously
should
for once,
say,
finally.
yes. No, and it's never been more fitting.
Yeah.
Because you're right, there's a whole lot of collateral damage.
Yeah.
He didn't intend that,
Mm-hmm.
but also, at the end, does he care?
Right.
Like, maybe he cares that he screwed up his family really badly.
Yeah.
But in the end, does he care that he hurt Jesse? Does he care that he blew up Gus?
Right.
Like,
Those are good points.
I think some of the things he would see as just means to the end.
Yeah. For sure. I think a lot of that is that at the end he's really resigned to, this is the end, I don't have to give a shit anymore because I'm going to die, and I'm the bad guy. Great,
He was just
sure,
going to leave
I'm
it
the
all
bad guy.
behind, yeah.
Yeah. We needed to turn some lights on.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got some extra lights on because we've talked for 7 million years. We are rapidly losing light. It is
This
now
could go on forever.
dusk, twilight, so I'm going to hit you with final thing.
Yes.
I wrote it just all caps, two question marks. Redemption?
Ha ha. Ha.
Knowing what we've talked about this whole time, all this collateral damage, he sets out to come back from this impossible puzzle box that he's locked in. He is out there, there's no contact with the outside world.
Yeah.
Don't come out, the cops are going to find you.
Yeah.
He goes out and tries, we assume, to set things right.
Yeah.
He goes out to give this money to the Schwartzes to give to his family. He goes out to free Jesse
Yeah.
and kill the white supremacists.
Yeah.
Is there any redemption there? Does that matter?
I have a complicated answer.
Uh-huh.
I think he sets it right. I don't think it redeems him.
Okay. Explain.
I think he does go. He sets things right. He gets Jesse out. He secures the money for everyone, and so he goes. He's like on this mission to do all these things, and he does them. But I don't think it makes up for what he did.
Sure. Yeah.
This isn't the old timey church where you can sell some indulgences and now you're fine.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think that makes a difference. He still did all those things. He still trod that path.
Mm-hmm.
You can't erase that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he set things right, but he's no.
Yeah. You still
No.
did a lot of messed up junk.
Yeah. We see him free Jesse, but here's what I want to hit you with then, is kind of an existential question. Does setting things right even matter when you fucked them all up so very badly?
That's a good point.
Your wife and family hate you and are living in poverty, and Jesse's a freaking trauma patient. You know, he's
Yeah.
never going to be the same.
Yeah, that's true.
You've destroyed this man.
Really, really did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't set things right then. He tries. Maybe he gets him out of it temporarily, but the long-term damage that he did is gonna be long-term.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a thing that you don't...
And he gets to escape. He's dead.
He gets to die, yes. He doesn't get to... there's no trial that we see. We assume he dies.
So he succeeds in his own plans
Right.
by dying, but I don't think that's necessarily
Mm-hmm.
the thing that should have happened to him.
It's all his own selfish interest, then. Like...
Yes! True!
Skylar isn't saying, please help us, Walt, come on out and get that money to us.
Yeah.
Oh, golly. It's still because he wants to.
Yeah.
He does things because he wants to. So it's kind of framed in a classic story way, that there's this ending and it's good and good things happen and there's redemption. But is it a classic story structure with, third act is redemption, or is it just a story of a guy who completely messes everything up?
Yeah.
Who just completely destroys everything he touches?
I think it's that one.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. It all comes back to that Tumblr post. It was Walt with a picture of the wolf puppy, I think.
Okay.
Little guy. I don't know if I'm still old. I'm on the internet, but I'm old.
Wolf puppy.
So it's just a picture of Walt, and it says, "The best way to solve problems is to create more problems until you're dead."
I think that pretty much exactly sums up
Yeah.
Walt's life.
It's like, that's one of those things where you can tag it, that's it, that's the show.
That's the show. And I think that's a good place to
Wait,
end it.
don't I have a chance to ask you a question?
Oh, yeah, you want to ask me a
I
question?
thought of a question.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so a couple weekends ago, we did Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
And so my question for you
Are you
is...
spoiling another show?
Why not? Hey, it can still be spoiled for us. It's in season 2 right now.
Okay, go for it.
Do you think that Better Call Saul, as a show, is going to follow the same trajectory? Do you see the same, beginnings
Mhm.
as Walt? And do you think it's going to end up with that same path? Because we kind of know where he's going to end up.
We know what happens to him throughout Breaking Bad, at the end of Breaking Bad, yeah.
And
Kind
so,
of.
What I'm thinking is it's a journey to... Because I think when Walt connects with Saul, at that point, Saul is at the top of his game.
Yeah.
He's got all his deals in order, in line. He's got his fancy office. I think he's rich. You can never really tell with the cheap suits
I'm
and
gonna say
everything.
no.
But, so I think that Better Call Saul is going to be showing us the trip he takes to get to that point, where he's at his high point. And so...
I think he's in a very different situation than Walt.
Okay.
I think even like maybe before this and certainly throughout the show, I think he's offered many chances to get out of his situation.
That's
and like,
true.
especially at the end, I still don't really understand why he walked away from that great offer.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll find out in season 2. Maybe?
Yeah.
But no, I think he's an entirely different beast.
That's a good point you make, that he's being offered chances. Do you think Walt was offered a chance to get out?
Well, I mean, there's the persistent chance of, hey, just don't make meth, right?
Right. But at some point, he's so, like, deeply embroiled in the world that it's dangerous for him to try to get out. Right? Because now he's got the cartels, they know about him.
At a certain point, he can't live a normal life.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it, do you think, the point at which men in scary cowboy boots are stalking up to your front door?
That could be the point, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mary, thank you for being here today.
No problem. This was really fun.
It was. It's always fun to talk Breaking Bad with you because it never ends.
Yep.
And that's why this video will probably be very long. But
deal with it.
Y'all can deal, because I don't have time to make a vlog today.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you decided to watch Breaking Bad. It's been a lot of fun to watch you go through that experience. And Better Call Saul has been not the same.
No, it's not the same.
But just
it's a
as
different
fun.
show. Yeah,
Just
but
as
I'm interested. Yeah.
All right, thank you for being here and freaking out about Breaking Bad publicly.
Yes, now I've done it online.
Wonderful. And there goes my monitor, which means we're out of time. That's not what it means. It means it's been on for 10 minutes. But that's going to do it for me, for us, today. So you'll at least see me tomorrow. Bye.